Jim, John, thanks so much for joining me. I'm pleased to say that we finally got to meet in person this year on the Vineyard.
Yep.
Oh,
Jim, you and I go
great.
way back,
Way back. I mean,
2010 or something.
yeah,
Jim
I
contacted
loved that.
me.
I
Yeah,
love that project that we did together. That was
yeah,
so
it was great.
fun.
I remember you contacted me saying, "Oh man, I've just seen your Raiders of the Lost Ark project. Please do one on Jaws. I can tell you everything. I can give you everything." And you were the producer of that Filmumentary, and yeah,
Oh
super
no, thank
grateful
you.
and
It was
great that
just
we've
fun. We were a
stayed in
great
touch.
team doing it. It
That's
was
it.
just such a great team effort. It
That's
was
it.
fun.
And
It
John,
was
you and
fun.
I have known each other for a few years now, sort of through kind
Yep.
of, mutual friends and things and contacts. But also great to see you on the Vineyard. It was a real kind of love in that week there that I had. Just so many people just there to celebrate the things that they love, and it was great to sort of soak up that atmosphere with you. I only saw you briefly, of course, but we got a quick
It was
picture.
so quick. I know. I
Yeah.
wish we spent more time together, but I know you were doing
You
the
were
project
working,
with
work
Joe.
trip.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was there. I literally said hello to you. We took a picture. I sipped a bottle of water. Joe came out, and then we went to see the orca. And we didn't stop that week, but it was great.
Yeah.
But in the meantime, you've been making this project. Well, before then, you were making the project, but for some time. How long has it been that you've been making this project together?
I think we
I-
started 2016, 2017.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
So a long time, 8, 9 years.
Yeah, and those projects kind of always evolve over time as you find new things out and people come and go in the teams that you're working with. But I think you've really focused in on a really interesting subject. It's Jaws adjacent. It's a Jaws tale in a way. I like that. It's like a Star Wars story kind of tag, like Rogue One at the bottom. But The Farmer and the Shark about Craig Kingsbury, like when did it become apparent to you that A, this was a story to tell, B, that you had enough material to do it, and C, that there would be an audience for it?
Good question. I'm going to start, Jim, and you can take one of them.
No, you can go because it was your
Um,
concept
so
with
yeah,
Craig
the
Kingsbury.
original idea was to do a docudrama series, a much bigger project that looked at the many locals on the vineyard that had an impact on Jaws that
Mm,
maybe haven't had their stories told.
Yeah.
And yeah, we shot 40, 45 interviews over the course of 6, 7 years, and the project evolved and changed. And by 2024, we sort of were almost really back to the drawing board. Knew that we wanted to produce something in time for the 50th, knew that there was definitely stories within all the material that we shot. And yeah, I sort of had the idea, I suppose, of looking at Craig Kingsbury's story. I mean, for my money, Craig is the epitome of a local who had an impact on the production,
mm.
not just behind the camera, but in front of the camera as Ben Gardner. And so that's the first part of your question. The second question is interesting because I think you'll appreciate as a documentary filmmaker yourself that, okay, we're looking at a body of material and we're looking at a new story of which we weren't originally thinking of when we shot that material. So it was sort of like square peg, round hole of, okay, how can we take this existing
Mm.
material and craft it into something different? And so we went back to the interview transcripts and we just said, okay, what do we have? What do we still need? We had, I think, 5 or 6 shoot dates after that that were focused specifically on Craig. And the third question of how did we know there would be an audience? I think we could just assume that if it's Jaws, they will come. And
Yeah.
so we felt we had a unique story, and we can get into more of that later. But we hit the ground running, and what, 18 months later, Jim, we had a finished film.
Yeah,
Amazing.
incredibly fast. It went by so fast. It was really amazing.
And Jim,
Uh,
you've worked on a bunch of documentary projects as an advisor. You
yeah,
co-wrote the book with Matt Taylor. I mean, when I think of Jaws fans, I think of Jim Bella. I mean,
uh,
JawsCollector.com and all of that going way back. I mean, that was
yeah,
the first
yeah.
time I discovered you, and your expertise must at some point feel like you've topped out on what you know about Jaws and what you could maybe find out in the future. It feels like there's been so many documentaries, there's been so many books. We've heard podcasts as well talking about the making of Jaws. For you, it must have been exciting to find that there were still stories to be told.
That's what really interested me.
Mm,
We were, like John said, we've been working on this for a while, and it was a different concept that originally we were thinking of. It was, a mini series kind of thing,
mm,
but the making of while doing like we'd film actors being these people while in between, it would be the real people
Sure.
talking, and then something like that. And then, it just fell apart. It just was, and so we were like, well, John was like, we were just talking. We were like, it's a shame because we have all this great stuff that people have never heard before, like these interviews and these new stories and these new photos and film footage, especially film footage, 18 millimeter footage, 8 millimeter footage. I'm sorry, and 16 millimeter footage that we found later. But anyway, so I thought when John was like, he just called me one day. He goes, I think I have an idea. What do you think? And he knew I knew Kristen Henshaw very well. So he goes, which is Craig Kingsbury's daughter. And he told me the idea, and I was like, oh my God, that's brilliant, because that's never been told before. And it's a fresh new look and a different, more than this other project that we were working on. This is really different. And that's what really drew me to it. And I just was like, yes, we have to do this. So as John said, we just started, boom.
Yeah.
And we got in touch with Kristen to make, she was all for it. She was like, oh my God, she was so honored. She was so great. She was fantastic with John, especially with all of her archive stuff from her dad. She has so much stuff that you'll see in the documentary.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to seeing it. But that stuff must be really tantalizing for you as well, John, because I know you've worked doing archive work as well. Just finding something that nobody else has seen outside of those four walls of that house. What was that moment like when she said, "Oh, I've got some 8 millimeter footage and I've got some photos and all of that kind of stuff"? I mean, what's that feeling inside of you as an archivist and a Jaws fan?
It's like a kid in Christmas morning in a way, And we had interviewed Kristen back when the project was making the monster. So I knew that she had a lot of stuff. I knew that she was sort of the de facto family historian. I knew I had a copy of her book already, Craig Kingsbury Talking. So I sort of knew broadly what she probably had. And then it was when we went over and did the first shoot day with her that you walk into her home and it's like a living museum. I mean, family photos that date 100 years back, hanging on the wall, boxes and boxes of stuff. And you've probably encountered this in your own work, that sometimes you encounter people that are resistant and maybe don't want to share. Kristen is an open book. And whatever we needed, she supplied it and then some. So 8 millimeter footage, photos, documents, audio, VHS recordings. I came home with boxes of stuff that I had to digitize and send off to get scanned, and it made the world a difference. I don't really know that we could have done it without Kristen.
Yeah.
Well, when I first called her, I said, Kristen, we want to tell your dad's story, and would you be open to some of the more salacious stories about him? He was a complicated guy. He was not a stranger to a jail cell. And she said, my mother used to say that we all have skeletons in our closet, and once in a while you've got to take them out and dance with them.
Nice.
So I knew, just as a storyteller, like, oh yeah, okay, this is going to be good, and so we just went. This doc is loaded with archive, not just from the Kingsbury family, but of Jaws as well, stuff nobody has seen before, photographs, 16 millimeter footage, 8 millimeter footage. It's gonna wow people. But my last point about that, Jamie, is that it's almost like a fool's errand to make a Jaws documentary and try to find archive nobody has seen before.
Yeah, absolutely.
It has been so well documented in almost every medium that exists. So it's a challenge for sure. And we were very fortunate, we found some gold that people are excited to see. So
because I think the only new material behind the scenes that I've seen of Jaws in any time in recent decades is in Laurent's new documentary. There's just that little bit more of that footage of Stevens, I think it is. where,
Yeah.
for me, I'm like, oh, there's Joe, and he's wearing that jacket, and it's that same photo. And there is something amazing when you find those things, because it is a bit like time travel, isn't it? Going back and being able to look at what life was like on the set and on the island. And what's unique about Jaws, and has always been unique, and if there are people listening that don't already know this, is that when Shari Rhodes or when Joe Alves first scouted Martha's Vineyard, and then Stephen agreed on it, and then Shari Rhodes went over there, the casting director, to cast all these locals, which is just not a thing you do with a movie generally, but it's left this kind of legacy of memories and history on the island. I mean, aside from the fact that you can walk down, the main street in Edgartown and it feels like you're in the movie, that doesn't happen anywhere else either. But it's unique in that regard, isn't it? Because you've got that kind of tight-knit community there. I was filming some stuff, just walking up the road quietly. Every day somebody came up to me and said, oh, I was in the movie. I was, or my father was in the movie, or my mother was in the movie, or, oh, this guy in the diner, you were in the movie, sir, weren't you? And it's just, whenever you go to the island, it just surrounds you, doesn't it, that stuff?
I love that, yeah.
But to be able to find enough material to do this story about this one man, and to tell his life story, because I'm assuming it's his life story as well as his involvement in Jaws, it's just, I think it's an amazing thing you've done for the island history as well.
I appreciate that. I think the people on the Vineyard seem to be excited. We just had our third.
Yeah, I was just going to ask. You've had a few down there now, right? Yeah.
Yeah, we've had three. I think a fourth coming in the new year. And they've all sold out. And what's great, Jim can speak to this too, is that people don't just show up to watch the film and participate in the Q&A. They show up to also tell their Craig story, because everybody knows everybody's got a Craig story.
And then you're like, damn it, that one could have been in the movie.
No, well, actually not. I mean, it's one of those things where, I've always thought about doc films and archives as like archival institutions as inherently incomplete.
Yes.
A documentary is an incomplete document.
Yes.
You're never going to capture all of it. Kristen's book is case in point, because there isn't a wasted sentence in that book. It is chock full of stories from Craig, about Craig, and we could have made a 10-hour long documentary, but that was, would never have been the goal. So there's so much stuff out there, and I think the people in the Vineyard seem thrilled and excited about it.
And do you feel like you've got closer to understanding the man himself? Because, even in the film, you immediately know he's quite a formidable guy. He's a tall guy, when he speaks to Dreyfus that first time, hello there, fella, or whatever he says. And then, you wish your mother had never met your father, or whatever the line is. You know better than I do. You do get a sense that he's a formidable guy. And of course, he's an integral part of the movie as well. Even Stephen going back and shooting that extra stuff with the head coming out and all of that stuff with Ben Gardner. But did you feel like in doing this, Jim, that you got a real kind of better sense of the man himself and what he represented?
Definitely.
Yeah,
definitely, because unfortunately I never got to meet him. I wish I really did.
When did he pass away?
He passed away, God, I was living in New York City at the time, I think. Around 2000. When was it, John?
2002, I think. 2002.
Yeah, 2002. Okay. Yeah, I was in New York at the time, so I never got to meet him. That's why I was so fortunate to meet his daughter, Kristen. We've been good friends ever since for years. But doing this documentary also, like I've always thought, Robert Shaw's character, because he's based, Gottlieb has always said. And Steven Spielberg's always said it's like that's Quint's character. So Robert Shaw would follow him around and listen to how he talked and his lines that he was saying. Carl Gottlieb would write down some of the lines and put in the movie. But when I finally heard him really talk, because I've seen little snippets of him talking before, but in this documentary, what John and the other guys captured, for me, when I was watching it for the first time, I was like, my God, he sounds like Robert Shaw. Robert Shaw sounds just like him. And I was always wondering, because, Robert Shaw had, he's from Ireland and he has this Irish accent and, British accent at times and whatever. But this, for Quint, I always thought it was odd. It was different. But when you hear, there's a section of this documentary that I told John that it's just, that's Quint. Oh my God, that's
you Robert can see Shaw. The essence there.
You can really see it, and that's what he used. Robert Shaw used that, and you'll see it in the documentary. It's just so I was happy to see that, because I never really got to meet the guy, but seeing this documentary, all this footage that Kristen lent us for it, I got to feel like I kind of knew him. got to meet him.
And talking of that footage, how much new stuff on set did you find, or on location, I guess we could say, did you find?
Oh.
How would you quantify it, Jim? I mean,
Are we talking like minutes? Are we talking
minutes?
minutes?
Yeah, minutes. I mean, maybe 30 minutes of footage from the set that nobody's seen before. It's not necessarily all in the doc, but
yeah, it's photos also, photos and film footage. The film footage, it's a funny story. We were actually, John had to cut. He had a cut. He was cutting the movie together with his editor and just working with his people, and we found out that I knew someone who had film footage that from a local news station, and from when they were there in '74, and they shot some stuff, and I was floored. I was like, and I sent it to John, and I was like, and especially there's a certain part of the doc with Joe, actually. I won't ruin it. I won't spoil it. But there's a certain part of the doc that Joe explains something. And now we have the actual footage that we never thought. I was like, what? We got to get this. We got to use this. So John really felt it. He was like, he really worked his butt off getting it. And this was what, 4 weeks or 3 weeks?
This was in July, Jamie. So we're like weeks away from the Vineyard premiere.
From so we had to recut. It was like, we got to get this and work it out. And John worked his magic and got it for the doc that no one's ever seen before, from local film news station.
That's very cool.
Happened to be there on Martha's Vineyard in '74 filming.
Color.
Yeah, color.
Wow. And this is 8mm or 16mm? This
16.
Piece? This is 16. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
In terms of photos, maybe 100 photos no one's ever seen before.
Wow. Yeah. And of things you've never seen before. Like, I mean, obviously we've seen hundreds, and obviously you did a lot of work, Jim, with Matt doing the Vineyard book.
I was shocked at how much more we found. I was just
crazy, isn't it?
Because I thought, once we did the book, I was like, okay, that's it, it's done. And after the book came out originally, then people started to, I have photos too. That's why we did a second version. Now Matt did another version, the updated version with more. But so it's like never ending. It's incredible that how many
and photos, not just on the Vineyard, but photos from Southern California when they were building the sharks and getting them ready to send to to the East Coast. So
Bob Matty and the team and everyone, Roy Arbogast and all those guys. Yes, great.
Yes,
great.
It's so photos no one's ever seen before. They've never been anywhere. Managed to get
except an attic. They've been in an attic for 50 years.
It's just mind-boggling, isn't it? All it takes sometimes is just timing, right? For these things to happen, you just have to be in the right place at the right time. I've spoken to the right person, and suddenly something new comes to light. It's like, when I speak to some of the prop store guys, they'll tell a story that, somebody was using this Princess Leia ceremonial costume as a fancy dress outfit, and it was in a suitcase for 40 years in someone's loft. You think, like, where are these people hiding? And this is the stuff that keeps me up at night, honestly. Like thinking of that footage. It's like with The Shining. I know there's like 40 hours of footage of The Shining just up here in London, just 10 miles from me, just sitting on shelves in 16mm cans. I think something's happening with them at the moment, but for years I was just like, please, somebody just digitize them before they corrode and disappear forever. And that's the other thing, isn't it? You've got this footage, you've got to handle it with some serious care, because that's been sitting in a dusty old box for months, and film does degrade over time. Did it still have its color, or had it gone purple as often it did with that?
It was no pink, no fading.
Really?
I mean, it's been in an archive,
right?
A local archive, so it's been in a
primary conditions. Yeah. Great.
With that other footage that I got from the woman on Martha's Vineyard, that is like 8mm footage from her family.
Yeah.
And what's his name? Also, this 8mm footage of his family taking a vacation on Martha's Vineyard. It would be like you could see from State Beach where the 4th of July scene was.
They just happened to be there.
And out there, you can see them right there filming. They just zoom into it. kind of thing.
Wow. I'm
That's
just looking on the
spoiler.
web here, guys, to see how I can buy this documentary because I need to pre-order it right now.
I mean, and to your point about being kept up at night, I mean, I totally agree. I think and with Jaws, what's interesting, has always been interesting to me is that, because it was filmed in such a high profile touristy spot, you had people from all around the world on vacation in that chunk that they were there filming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, there could be reels in Japan that we don't know about. There could be,
Yeah.
I mean, it's
Yeah.
exciting, frustrating, like all at the same time, because
Hmm.
you want to find it all. But no, I think with this project, I think people, to Jim's point too, I think people will feel like they've gotten to know Craig a bit. And we had a private screening with Kristen and her family before we had the first Vineyard screening, and we went
Hmm.
over to her house, and her grandkids were there, Craig's great grandkids, and we all watched it, and there were a lot of tears. And I just remember Kristen saying, like, I felt like he was alive again.
Oh, wow. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean,
So
that really is job done, isn't it? I mean, forget about the Jaws fans. I mean, if
it's
you've made the
true.
family happy and you've recreated, a wonderful memory for those people, for his family to feel like he was there and he was alive for a moment. That is fantastic.
And on that too, that's what I really love about this documentary that's different from all the other documentaries. This one has a lot of heart.
Mm,
Like you really, once you're over watching it, you're like, wow. I mean, we got some great reviews, people in the audience online saying, oh my God, I had no idea how much like heart this had and stuff.
mm,
It's like different type. It's not just a making of Jaws documentary. It's like different. And
hmm.
it's so different because intertwined. Like it is the making of the movie, but also how involved he was and his history and on the island.
Yeah,
It's an
great.
island movie. It's a Martha's Vineyard island movie, really.
Yeah,
The
and
whole
it's a
story of the
historical
Martha's Vineyard.
document, isn't it
Yeah,
now? It's a historical document for the island and
yeah.
for people in the future. You mentioned like when you did the book, Jim, like and you released it, people were going, "Oh, I've got more photos." Any of these screenings, has anybody come forward and said, "Oh, actually, I've got something you might want," or has it just been more kind of, stories, verbal stories that they were telling?
I think it's more verbal stories, right, John? I mean,
Yeah, I would say so.
yeah, yeah. I haven't.
We haven't really found any new archives since we
Yeah.
finished.
But
Yeah,
it's great that it can kickstart those memories from people, and then you can, it enriches the whole thing, doesn't it, as well? But and I imagine as well that with the documentary, as I know from cutting many things down over the years, that you've probably got a ton of material and interviews, particularly with the fact that it was a different project to begin with. Do you have any plans for like a physical release of the film in the future where you could have extras and things as well?
Yeah, I mean, that's the goal. Now we're sort of turning our sights to distribution.
Yeah.
Now that the summer of the 50th is over, and we've finished the grade and the mix, and it's really done. Um, so yeah, we want to do physical media, streaming, we'll see what the future holds. In terms of all the other material, yeah, I mean, there's probably more documentaries in that material. I won't be the one to work on them because
yeah.
this has been a long time coming, but we've given a lot of the raw interviews to the Martha's Vineyard Museum so they add to their oral history collection, so make them available to anybody that wants to go and see them and use them.
Nice.
And
Um,
they've been a great help to this documentary. Also, we got to tell that.
Mm,
So
oh,
they
sure, absolutely.
really have.
great.
They really helped us out a lot with John, especially
Yeah.
with our archive stuff about Craig and that Kristen didn't have that he needed, and the Martha's Vineyard Museum was fantastic.
Yeah.
So big shout out to them. Big shout out
Good.
to them.
And I imagine that you hope one day to get this in front of Stephen himself as well.
We're working on it.
John. Yeah.
No,
Yes.
we do. I mean, we certainly
Yeah.
do. I mean, yeah, we would love to show it to Stephen and get his thoughts. We'd love to maybe have it play at the Academy Museum sometime in the next coming year while their exhibit is still going. Um, so it's been a busy summer, but I think this is just the beginning of the little journey for this film.
Mm.
Um,
Yeah.
How many
so
contributors are in it in the end, do you think? Can you name like a few of them that we might recognize?
Jim, you want to take that one?
Um, Greg Nicotero,
Hmm.
he helped out. Um, not Joe. Joe helped. We got some stuff from Joe. Who else?
You mentioned Carl Gottlieb.
Carl Gottlieb,
Yeah.
definitely.
Carl's in it. Yep.
Yep. Jeff Kramer is in it.
Jeff's in there. Good. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Jonathan
He's had some
Billy.
great stories. Sherry Rhodes is in it actually too.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Audio archive and video archive of her.
Fantastic.
Talking about not just
Talking
Craig,
about,
but
yeah.
yeah,
Great.
video archive of Herschel West.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Also people that have since passed since we interviewed them, like Michael Chapman, Tom Joyner.
Yeah.
And people that just haven't really had their stories told. Chris Crawford, pilot of the Orca. Jennifer Parkinson, who was one of the very few female special effects crew members. Her husband, John Parkinson, owned the Popeye, which was a boat that he ran a lot of his special effects out of.
Yeah.
Working with Lynn Murphy and those folks. And some Islanders, just local people that weren't a part of Jaws, but maybe knew Craig, maybe knew some of his infamous stories. So there's a lot of, I think people, like Jim said, will feel refreshed. There's not a lot of ground being tread again that has been seen in other films.
A little bit to tell the story.
You kind of have to, don't you, to a certain extent.
But not to extreme like all these other docs over the years. Like it's the same basic story,
Yeah, and there's certainly been some sort of sensationalism with the story behind Jaws. Everybody, talks about how the shark wasn't working and all of that stuff. And I guess that is part of its lore. But there is also, for me, in making the Joe documentary at the moment, is that we want to tell the story that, it didn't work all the time because they put a huge mechanical shark in the sea. This is a huge endeavor, crazy endeavor.
Yes.
And they rushed it where, they didn't have the time for it and all of that stuff. But I still think those people always... should be rewarded for their endeavor. It's a different generation, isn't it, of people that just went out there and did those things. I don't know if it's something just about that post-war generation,
Kevin Pike was another person too.
Kevin. Yeah.
Kevin's cool.
He's got some stories. Yeah.
Charlie Blair.
Yeah. Voorhees, is he in there as well?
We interviewed him for the previous project, but
there's not much crossover, I guess.
No, unfortunately not. Maybe 15, 18 characters.
Great.
And Craig's omnipresent through the whole thing, which was the goal,
And he does talk about the movie. He talks about Steven Spielberg too, and
the shark stuff, which
talks
is
about
cool
the shark that no one's ever heard from him before. Yeah.
Great. Yeah. So you've sort of settled some old sort of lore as well, like, because there's a lot of rumors surrounding all of this stuff, but it's nice to have words from people that were on the ground at the time. So what can fans do to support you or to look for more information about the film? Because obviously, as Jaws nuts, we're all raring to see this, and I know there's still work to be done with distribution and everything, but is there anything we can do to follow the path in the meantime?
Go ahead,
John. All right. Well, we got a website going, and we also have posters for sale.
Oh, the poster's great. I have to say, it's really nice artwork. Yeah.
There's limited edition posters that we have that we're going to put on hopefully soon on the website, and I'll be promoting it on my Jaws Collector pages on Facebook and Instagram, so let fans know and other collectors know to pick one up if they want one. Pick one
Great.
up. I just keep on talking about it. I mean, we're trying to just keep it going until it does come out, right, John? I mean,
no, thefarmerandtheshark.com is a good spot. Jim and I are pretty active and vocal about it on our personal social media pages. So once there's news to share, we'll definitely make sure that it's sung from the hilltops.
And, I'll be happy to help in any way I can. Send me whatever you like. I can send it to my little corner of the internet as well. Always happy to help, because I know what you've been through, in doing this. And I know just, even if it was a straightforward project, it would have been a hell of a thing to do, but I know there's been ups and downs. It's been a bit of a roller coaster for everyone involved. So the fact that you've done this and you've got to this point, I mean, huge congratulations. And I can already tell from the way you talk about it and the passion you put into it that I'm going to be an audience member that certainly enjoys it and loves it and will buy it on physical media as well. So thank you from this side.
Thank you. Thanks for having us on.
Thank you.
Yeah. Great to see you guys.
You too, Jamie.